going on, everybody? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Paul Goneau. Today, my guest is comedian Tomas Jones.
Wow, thank you for having me, Paul.
Welcome, brother. Appreciate you for
excited to
coming
be
by.
here.
Fella Mississauga native. Well, I don't know, I guess native would kind of, that means I was born here?
Were you not born in Mississauga?
I was not born in, I was born in Toronto, actually. You were born in Sauga?
No, I was born, technically, I was born in Trillium, but I lived in Etobicoke, right?
Okay.
So we've just narrowed our demographic of this podcast.
Yeah,
There's 9 people
6,
now. We fucked up.
It's all right. So you just finished producing your last show.
Yeah.
For the year.
Yeah.
How was it, man? Was this your first year producing?
No, I've been producing since September of 2021, I think.
Okay, all right.
I kind of got thrust into it. It was something that I kind of wanted to do a show, and I wanted to do a one-off, and then so Bar Cathedral at the time was still a brand new venue.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think anybody's doing comedy here. And so I contacted them, and I was like, hey, I'd like to just do one show. And they were like, great. And then they kind of locked me in of we're going to do bi-weekly with you. And at the time, I didn't even know how to promote or do anything, make posters. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's turned out to be fortuitous, and you meet a lot of great people doing it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's funny when I sit there and think about it that it's the last show of the year. I mean, it happened on December 3rd, but there's so many shows that have been done by now to think where it first started versus where it's gotten to now in terms of even how I thought about it, right? Mm-hmm. I learned so much about stand-up comedy from producing that show.
Yeah.
That it's almost like you get to learn. I don't want to say you're fast tracked to learn tricks about how it works, but I mean, I'm sure you understand, right?
Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
way I used to think about shows versus how I think about it now is two totally different worlds. Because I didn't really know anybody in the Toronto comedy scene. And I was like, no one's going to just let me do their comedy bar show, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
It's funny now that you think about it when you do it enough times and stuff, but I was like, I used to think oh, dude, if you're at a comedy bar, you're a real pro, dude, you know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I produced the first show, and I was like, I'm going to headline. And what a stupid mistake. First of all, I was accosted for it by the Toronto comedy. They were like, you're not supposed to do that. Okay. I was like, what do you mean? It's my show.
Yeah.
You came here to see me tonight.
How long had you been doing comedy before you started producing?
Not long. That's another weird, not long. I went in 2020, I went to Los Angeles for 5 weeks because I thought I was going to do stand-up. I was like I'd always loved stand-up comedy. And I learned kind of how to do it a little bit. The first time I actually ever did stand-up was at the Comedy Brawl in, I don't remember, 2019.
But Toronto.
Toronto Comedy Brawl. Yeah. And then I went to LA after and sort of learned how to do it, and then the pandemic happened. And so, literally the day I landed.
Oh, serious?
I landed from Los Angeles. And Justin Trudeau came on the TV and he was like, if you're out of the country, you need to come home right now. And I was in LAX, looking around. It's NBA is canceled, NFL is canceled. And I remember I got a call from my brother. He's like, do you see what's happening? And I was like, bro, why?
This is crazy.
What the hell? Why do I have to be here during this? But yeah, to answer your question, I'm just like,
no, it's good. It's good, man. Yeah.
I don't know. I was very happy with the last show of the year. It's kind of a gimme show, at least the December one, because I only charged $3 for the event, because one, I don't want to spend a lot of promotional dollars on it, and two, I have this thing of Christmas time comes rolling around, it's who the hell am I to charge $10, $20 for a ticket when people have to buy gifts and stuff like that, you know? Yeah. I've just never considered myself to be a gift you would give someone at Christmas time. So it's a $3 show so that it's just like getting an iced coffee, right?
Yeah.
And it's good because a $3 show, it sells a lot of tickets, right? But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had probably my best performance of the year. Nice. It's the irony is, at least at Cathedral.
Yeah.
Because I bomb every time I do Cathedral. Every time. Every single time I do it. People hate me at Cathedral. I
Do
go and I do...
Do you host every time?
Majority.
Okay.
Majority. I am a terrible host.
I feel like when I host, man, I feel like my set doesn't go good, but then in between, I win them back. Like, for some reason, it always feels... I don't know if it's because it's like... I'm not sure, and I do like a couple shows out of SoCap, and it kind of feels like home, so maybe it's just because I'm more comfortable there, and then after, like, I don't do well, I'm trying extra hard to kind of, like, save their opinion of me, but...
I have this thing I don't particularly like. I mean, I guess I could do crowd work, right? But there's something to me where it's like, you know, you see videos of, like, Andrew Schultz... Or Matt Rife or wherever, and they're doing crowd work and they're busting someone's balls.
Yeah.
Those are at, like, established American comedy clubs. Where, like, you show up and if you sit in the front row, you're automatically thinking, like, the comedian's gonna talk to me, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, you come to my show, half the day it's the Spaghetti Factory. Yeah. This isn't the Comedy Store, so I don't want to go on stage and be like, yeah, what do you do for a living? Fucking it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never want to insult people in the audience. And people come up to me all the time. They're like, why don't you do crowd work when you host? Like, because I don't know what to say to you. I don't want to look at someone and be like, nice glasses, idiot. Like, you know what I mean, right? Whereas I see people do it all the time.
Stigmatism. Fucking.
So I go up and I kind of play around with them a bit. And if my first joke doesn't land, they're gone. They're gone. And then I just do like the Patrice O'Neill method. I just take 2 grenades and I throw in I turn it back on them. This is your fault that you're not laughing, not mine. I'm great, you know? But it never works. Every time I bomb. And the thing, it's like a known thing about my show. It fills up really well. Like, there's shows like there's 100 people in there sometimes, right? And crickets. And bro, bombing in front of 100 people, you're just there like, dude. And then you'll go and I'll do the same set the next night at wherever, who knows, right? Whatever comedy club. And you're like, it's doing really well.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, see, I fucking knew it, right? And people have, because like the Cathedral stage is really high.
Yeah.
And it's huge venue with like super high ceilings and the acoustics are kind of, it's a music venue, right?
I love how it looks though. It's nice.
Beautiful.
The setup is really nice.
And the thing is that you go to like Comedy Bar or even SoCap, the room is very dark. And I heard that actually enables people to laugh. Because you don't actually see who's laughing. You just hear laughter. Whereas Cathedral, it's like you can see everyone, right? And as being on stage, I don't like to see anybody. Like I like a totally blacked out room.
Gotcha.
And Cathedral, you're up there, and to see 100 unimpressed people,
it's a lot harder.
I definitely think it makes me a better comedian.
I've never even thought about like being able to. Yeah, that's interesting.
I've taken a lot of time to sit there and think, what the hell am I doing wrong, you know? And it's not just me. A lot of people, like a lot of great comedians, come and they'll do my show, and they die up there. And I always tell them, it's not your fault. They just hate me, and so they hate you now too. Like, but the room always sells well. I don't know what it is. And then, like I said, so the Christmas show, the December one, I go up and it went really well. And I got off stage and I was like, what is that? Like, maybe 4 of the 16 shows I'll do at Cathedral, I'll get off and be like, that was great. I'm very happy about that. But the other 12 is just...
I love how in your stats of the thing right at the bottom is like how many times you bombed.
Oh, yeah. Bro, because that's what I do there. Like, it's so brutal. And then that's the thing, like, do you know who Dave Seeley is?
I do.
And then I have Dave Seeley come out, and he's so soft-spoken and so charming, and they love him. And I'm literally just sitting there like, should I just fucking let Dave Seeley host every show? Because I'm not good at this, you know?
Well, if you're running successful shows, you know, there's got to be something, you know? I mean, there's always... I feel like I'm learning stuff, like, every show, and I took 6 months off for the baby...
Right.
And just came back in September, I think. And, like, there's still a lot of stuff that I'm learning. I only started so the pandemic happened. There was that big chunk at the beginning. And then after that was done, there was, like, a little break. That's when I started producing.
Okay.
and I was doing stuff at Comedy Bar, and I don't know. I really don't know exactly what happened because there was so it all started. There was some ladies, two ladies that left a show one night. I had been doing my show.
Okay.
I started, my first show was the monthly show. And
I remember.
I started doing it there, and I had done like 3 or 4, and then this one show, a few ladies like left, and they complained about a joke I was doing. I was talking about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp thing, and just I don't know. There was a lot of things to the joke, but basically I was just saying, I could tell by Amber Heard's face that like her pussy stinks.
Okay.
Just by looking at her face. And like this offended some people, and the ladies who were offended left, and they wrote an email to Gary, who ended up like sending me the email and explaining this happened and blah blah blah. And then there was like no communication for a little bit, and then the next time we emailed, he like sent me his phone number, and we like talked on the phone for like an hour, dude. And then after that, it seemed like we were on the same page. Like I explained exactly what the joke was. He's like, yeah, like it seemed like everyone else didn't have a problem with the joke. It was just these two people, and like there's a lot of this kind of thing happening now, and that he agreed that the joke. So another point that I kind of missed at the beginning was like the whole like caption, like the whatever cover words or whatever you put in an email was like all caps, hate speech. That's what they wrote in like the email, just hate speech, all caps, probably some exclamation marks. And he's like, I don't think this is hate speech, and it seemed like we were on the same page. And then I stopped getting shows at the Comedy Bar Bloor, and he started booking me more at Danforth. And then I took my break, and like towards the end of the break, I was trying to like get it together and figure out lineups and book the dates and stuff like that, and just never got back to me. And I was just like, I can't. And there's nothing against Gary. It's just like I'm a very straightforward person. Like if there's an issue or something that you're like, I don't know, man. So I just doing my stuff at Comedy Bar, and I'm trying to get more stuff started in Mississauga. Like I have Knee Slapper City coming back in January.
Right.
But to your point earlier, I have learned a lot producing, and I really started doing it really early on, just because. Well, I think mainly because I just wasn't getting booked, and I just and so like my philosophy a lot of the time, like I've never in the 3 years or whatever that I've been producing, I've never asked someone to send me a video. I'm like, they message me, I fucking look them up, I see what's up,
yeah,
and like I kind of put them on. Like Laughateria is more of like. Not necessarily only beginners, but it's like kind of like your pro amateur thing.
Sure.
Like I've had people do their very first time doing stand up at Laughateria and win. Like ridiculous, So
and that was audience voting, or
that's audience voting. And I think well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the audience voting is like I try to make it so like even because I don't just say pick your favorite.
Yeah,
I'm like, pick your top 3, and I give them each points based on 1, 2, and 3. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I've had people win Laughateria that didn't bring anybody.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Because they tallied up enough 2s and 1s?
Yeah,
okay,
like,
I got you.
and like 3s and stuff like that. So it's not, like, I do hear, and obviously if someone brought 30 people, they're gonna win. For sure they're gonna win.
But that's not your fault.
Yeah.
Like, people need to understand with comedy, at least when you're brand new at it, it's kind of pay to play. Like, you want to win a competition. I'm not going to say, like, I've seen so many of these comedy competitions, and you see who wins them, and I'll just be like, sorry, no fucking way you beat this other person. There's no chance.
Yeah.
It happened to me one night. I'm not claiming to be better than, like, I'm not, like, great, but I'm good enough that some nights I'll be there and I'll be like, I was definitely the best tonight. And I'll lose, and I'll just be like, yeah, this is what happens, I never take it personally, but, and to what I was gonna say before too is
okay.
like, can you imagine going to a comedy club and getting offended over an Amber Heard? Like, what do you think you're gonna hear when you show
We're the
up to this
latest
place?
show of the night too.
That is so
like,
stupid, and I
yeah.
hate how people. You know, the problem is that when people take something like that hate speech and they weaponize it, where you're like, okay, if you're gonna say that what we said tonight was hate speech, you're taking away from actual hate speech.
Right, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's actual hate speech out there that exists, and you're offended, so you're gonna use it. Why don't you just text them terrorism? Like,
yeah, right.
It's
fucking
that's
what I'm saying, man.
You know, I get so ticked off when people. I got in trouble for a joke I told it at my jazz comedy night, and these are different types of people that come to this event, you know, and it's fine, I get it, right? But like, to show up to a comedy bar, like what world do you live in where you might hear something like I think it's one of the most privileged things that you could show up and be like, your life is going so good for you that you can be offended by someone lightly making. I'm not saying, and there's comedians out there that go up there and they say some terrible shit, and you're like, yeah, you could be mad about that, you know?
Yeah.
But like, something, it's like, there's every joke has a target, you know? And every joke is offensive to someone, right? And to show up to a place and be like, this hurts my feelings, I want this guy, take away his livelihood, right? Yeah. And not to say that this is how you were, but like, it doesn't matter. Even if it's a small portion of your income, it's still, what, you're gonna take food out of his mouth because he hurt your fucking feelings? Like,
and I went out, dude. I actually, like, I found out about it that night, but I didn't think they'd email.
I'd be like, cool, dude, do you know whose name it was? I'm great. And then I would call their work and be like, I have a bomb threat. They said they were gonna shoot my house up. I'm joking. I would not do that, by the way. It's just a joke. Don't.
I, like, the night of it, I tried to, like, you know, resolve it, and I went out.
Nope.
And the door guy was like, yo, some people just left.
Nope.
Your show, and I was like, where are they? And I really, and even when I was talking to Gary, he's like, that would have made it worse. You know, and he's
never
like,
ever
that's the kind of people these are.
You ever try to argue with an idiot? You can't. It's impossible. Someone who gets offended like that is, you know, I have friends too that are like very progressive and like, you know, and even they would be like, that's insane that you'd get upset. People go out to get upset sometimes, and it's like, if you're looking for it, you can find it. I wish I pointed them in the direction of some shows that are actually filled with psychopaths on stage.
Oh yeah, right?
You know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you want to hear crazy? I'll point you in the direction of crazy. It's just down the block a little bit, you know?
There's a lot of it.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
So what made you start comedy? 2019, you said?
I would say that's the. I don't want to say official start date because it's like I didn't do anything.
Right? Yeah, that was just like your first.
Yeah, like I would say I officially started like I don't even like that term because I remember thinking to myself when I first started, like, can I call myself a comedian?
Yeah.
You know, and I was so stringent about it, about certain things. Even the term now, when people say like, oh, they're a pro, they're a headliner, it's like, why? Because you saw them kill once really well, like, doesn't make you a pro, right? And it's a shame because now there's so many new entitled comedians that, and this is what another thing I was gonna say before is very polite of you and kind of you to get a message from someone and do your due diligence. There's literally like 5 ways to get booked on my show, and like, I'm sorry, some people aren't gonna ever get the opportunity. Like, it's just that plain and simple, right? It's either I know you, or I've seen you and I'm like, I really want that, or like, people come up to me sometimes and then I'll go and I'll watch them. But dude, the amount of people that message me be like, yo, can I hop on your show? Why? What value could you humanly add to the show? You know? And like, that's another thing that people's like, so your proposition for me is that you want to come to my show, get paid by me, bring no one.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, these are always the first, and then potentially bomb, right? There have been a handful of comedians that show up, they bring nobody, they bomb, and they're always the first person to send me their email.
Oh, dude.
And you're like, bro, I have this thing in my mind. If I go on stage and I fucking bomb hard, I won't take your money, bro. Because it's like, dude, if you hired someone to build a deck in your backyard and you go on, you look, you go, this thing's a fucking piece of shit. I'm not paying you for this, right? Yeah, it's like, I treat the same way with comedy. People be like, no, this is my art. This is my creative form. It's like, well, it's bad, okay? I just watched it, so. And they're always the first to, where's my $20? Or whatever the fuck they get.
Man, and I don't know what happened, dude. Like, but yeah, before my 6-month break, was doing it for 2 years, something, and like, I don't know, around 2 years, let's say. And I had one person cancel out of all those 2 years, bro. Take the 6-month break. I've had multiple people cancel on. I haven't had one show where one person didn't cancel, and I've had a couple shows where like multiple people canceled.
I hosted a show the other night, and the lineup had 9 people. I was hosting it as a favor for someone, right? So it was low stakes. You get paid either way. But I show up, and there's 3 comedians there. And I was like, we have a time slot to fill.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what, does everybody want to do 30 minutes? Like, what the fuck are we going to do, right? People want to go far in comedy, but I find a lot of times, I'm even guilty of this. They don't want to do, like, the due diligence and all the shit work, you know? Like, yes, you should drive down to the Danforth and do an open mic there and walk outside and be like, fuck, this place is sketchy, and, like, have someone ask you for a cigarette, and, like, you should see a fight. It's like, people only want sold-out comedy bar shows, where it's like, you don't deserve that, you know? You should be worried to walk to your car a couple of times before you ever get to move your way up to, like, yucks or whatever the fuck. Absolutely.
Yeah, there should be a minimum requirement of like shared posters before you even get paid. Yo, if you're on a book show and you're for sure getting paid, share the fucking poster. Just share it. See, like, short of doing nothing is the bare minimum. Yeah. The next step up is sharing the fucking poster.
Dude, people don't know. Like, I'm a big analytics guy. I follow how things trend and track for my show, right? I know who promotes it. I know who does the due diligence. If you don't, I won't book you again.
That's exactly where I'm at, man.
I won't book you, and I'll tell you that, you know? And it happens frequently. Where people be like, yo, can I do the show? And I'm not trying to come off as like this guy who's like, oh, nah, dude, I show up, I swing my dick, and there's a million people in the room. But like, the fact of the matter is this, some of the shows I do have 150 people there, 175 people there. If I'm not saying you, but if any name wasn't on that poster, the same amount of people would be there, right? So what is me putting someone on my show add? Not much, unless you're actually a really funny comedian. So when people are just like, yo, you should really like... You know how many times I get comedians that have started comedy for like 4 months and they're like, yo, I'd love... Yo, do you think I could do like 10 minutes on your show one night? And you're like, are you out of your fucking mind? No. Like, how could you just come up to me like with such bravado, right? And I don't know. It drives me nuts, dude. And then people are just like, no, man, you have to be... Like, someone told me, they were like, oh... you have to be one of Thomas's friends. I'm like, it's not like, first, sort of. I have to like you to put you on my show,
for sure,
right?
Yeah.
But this doesn't boil down to me being like, I have a close group of people. It's like, dude, I just put the people on. Either you're super funny, in which case I just go, whatever. It's like, it's a zero-sum game where it's like, I don't care if they promote. They're going to be great that night. Or you promote the shit out of it. And it's like, you know, because it doesn't matter either way. The room sells itself. I don't sell the names of the comedians on the poster. I sell an experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that people get caught up on when they're producing shows. Is, like, you know, I learned the lowest performing show I've ever had at Cathedral. And it was a doozy. And I lost a lot of money that night. I put all their faces on the poster, all the names, and I'm promoting it, I'm firing it up. And then I sit there and I realize, like, unless you're a super high level comedian, who goes out to say, I want to see this person tonight? Almost nobody. So what they're doing is they're just coming out to laugh. So, you know, and it works for some people. It's just never worked for me, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's a weird ego thing. Like
No, I think a lot of people, like, even, like, outside of producers, just, like, comedians, like, at this level kind of forget that. And it's an important thing, like, everyone, there's all these community pages on Facebook and shit, but, like, it seems like there's a lack of community within the community. And
I think it's one of the funniest things when people post their shows into Toronto open
Yeah,
mic.
I know, dude. I know.
Who the hell are you trying to sell that? Do you think comedians are going to pay to
Yeah.
see the guy that they were just on the show with, or the girls that... Are you out of your fucking mind? You're wasting your time just posting. Post it to somewhere where people are like, I want to go out tonight. I want to have fun.
I think it's just like it's like this kind of flex thing that they do. Like,
cool.
still going.
Go. Yeah. Lit, dude. And I'm going to show up and there's 6 people there. Ooh, you're a rock star. What a world eater. Like, so stupid. Yeah, producing's a nightmare. I always tell, a lot of people ask me too, like, oh, yo, what would your advice be? And my advice would be, don't do it. Just become a really good comedian, get booked that way, you know? Producing's a pain in the ass. And if you're someone who's already in it and you've done a whole bunch of shows, then, like, okay, but...
It is.
You know?
It's a big pain in the ass.
It's brutal.
And
like,
like,
you have to deal with egos, too. Like, you know what? So, if you look at the way my poster... If there's either 6 names or 8 names on it. Because it's an even number. So it looks nice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one night, like an idiot, I booked 7 comedians. Not even I promised someone a spot, and they said, oh, am I still on the show? Yes, right? So, I make the poster, right? And I didn't put their name on it. I said, you're still on the show, though. And everybody knows you're on the show. I wrote it in the comments, right? Holy fuck, you would think they were like, oh, so like, but I'm still good. Do you think I could get one with my name on it? And I was like, bro, why? Why is it so important? So now for some of my shows, if I have a odd number, I won't even put my name on it. And then people will be like, are you doing the show? Of course. But like, do you think people won't buy tickets because my name's not on the poster? Like, of course they will. It's so silly, and it's a weird ego thing. So
I love the even number thing too. Like that's like,
very particular.
You make your own posters?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I do.
So
I make my own everything.
I made one unique poster for someone because they were like, I do some guest spots and whatever, and someone knew, like, you know, a bit like maybe like 10 days before the show. And it was just, yeah, it was fucking super pain, and it bugged the shit out of me inside, because I'm very big on, like, just, I would say mild OCD, never been clinically diagnosed.
Sure.
I don't even know if, like, I would never go to get diagnosed, because I just don't even really fully want to know, but
Sure.
there's little things like that bug me, so I can appreciate the even number thing.
Oh, dude.
And I love that you leave it off. It's like, hey, my name's not on there, you can't complain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It drives me insane. Sometimes I see posters, too, and I try to remind people, I'm like, if you think about the buying process of someone purchasing a ticket to see a show, if they don't know who you are, they don't know someone on the poster, what are you selling them? And some people have such elaborate posters that it's like, I don't know what the hell you're selling. I know you're selling comedy because we're friends, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes I see these big, like, avant-garde posters that are, like, very cool and aesthetically pleasing. No indication there's going to be stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
You're paying $20 for someone's, art thing? You know? So mine's plain and simple. Late night comedy. It's as easy as it gets. Yours, Laughateria. At least you know what you're getting. Mm-hmm. But it'll be like, I've seen a few of them where it'll be like, blah, blah, blah presents, going out into the rainforest, right? That's actually, I don't know if anybody...
Yeah.
That's just me, total bullshit, right?
Comment section of YouTube. Fucking,
but like,
how dare you call me out?
Yeah, and that's what's so funny is I'm like, who knows what you're selling, right? It's just like an ego thing. It's like, no, they should know this guy, stand-up comedian. It's like, you have 900 followers. That's not gonna move, like, and not to say that having 1 million followers or whatever, who cares? Social media is bad for you anyways. But like,
but if you have a following, it's easier to just...
Oh.
You can put out, like, if fucking Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle just put a black screen with a date...
But that's the point.
Like...
Right?
Yeah.
But people know what you're selling at that point.
Yeah.
But if you've been doing comedy for 7 months...
Exactly.
And you go, blah, 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 presents this, what are you selling? And it's like, why do you put yourself on the same level as people who are capable of selling it like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I saw Ricky Gervais's show in Toronto. It was Ricky Gervais Armageddon. But if I were Thomas Jones Armageddon, you'd be like, what is it, a short film? Like, what is it? Like a one-man... Like, no one knows who the fuck I am, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to plain and simple say, tonight there will be stand-up comedy, you know? But that's just my approach to
No, I can appreciate it. And I've tried, like, a similar thing. Like, I, like, registered my business last year, and, like, I called it Parental Advisory Comedy. I was like... It's something that kind of covers all the bases. It's like, you get comedy, you understand that it could be offensive,
sure,
you know, but still people don't get it. You know, sometimes you just... I mean, I work in a restaurant too, dude, and I've worked in, like, that industry for a while, and you get just... Sometimes people are just stupid, too. Like, someone will order, like, a sausage hash for brunch and then send it back because they didn't know there was sausage in it. See, it's the first word in the fucking name of what you're buying. It's like...
The fact that you even say sometimes, I think you're giving people benefit of the... Bro, there are so many dumb people out there. It's unbelievable. And okay, listen, I'm one of them. I'm not claiming to be fucking... I'm a genius. I'm super smart. But some of the things I see and hear on a day-to-day basis, I'm like... I'm hurt. My heart hurts that we have allowed society to get to this level, you know? Again, I'm not any better than anybody, you know? But a little bit, right?
There's some people that, there's some people, like, and there's no ego. I'm just saying, like, I fucking know a lot of shit people. I'm trying to get further away. As I get older, I'm getting further and further away from them. But, bro, you gotta, now, like, dudes, okay, so I lived in Brampton for a while. For like 10 or so years, over 10 years, around there. And like, Brampton's a hole, bro. You can't stay in Brampton and do a lot for your life. Like, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of just nonsense that is like, people outside of Brampton don't realize.
It's insane.
And like, dudes will still, it's like, you see I have a kid, you see I'm whatever, where I'm at. And like, some dudes that I haven't spoke to in like 10 years be like, hey dude, like, could you send me $20 for, but it's like, no, man. No.
Dude. Bro.
I don't even... you don't even know my daughter's name. Yeah. Like, don't fucking...
Yeah. You ever like...
There's a lot of entitlement.
Oh, dude. Sometimes there's a story of a guy that I went to high school with, right? And I haven't hung out with him. He wasn't a great guy in high school, but I have a friend that hung out with him maybe 2 years ago, and he hadn't seen him in a while, and they went out to a restaurant together. And my friend was telling me, he's like, dude, I'm sitting there looking at the same dude that is it. Like, he's never left high school. He's still doing, like, high school shit. And we're in our early 20s, and you're like, bro, I can't be around. You're going to do this forever. You're the type of guy to fucking throw a temper tantrum in a Walmart, you know? And you're like...
Yeah.
You're like, I can't be around someone like that. You're an idiot, you know?
Some people, you see it coming. And other people, it's like, I used to be really good friends... one of my buddies in Brampton, and we stopped talking because we were young and we were fucking whatever, dumb, and at a party he was like getting buddy with like just someone I fucking hated, and he was like my best friend at the time. And this is like childish stuff, but it'll get the point across. And just super smart, had a good family, did well in school, like this punk rock like dude. And after we stopped talking because of that whole party, we got in a fight that night and we stopped talking. And he's just the kind of guy that, you know, in my world, I expected to get see something later down the road of him becoming a fucking, I don't know, a paramedic or a teacher or something. He was something. He seemed that he's that smart, and he was coming from a good place. And bro, honest to God, a month ago or so, I got a message on Facebook, and this is it, Brampton, just Brampton trying to stick to me, bro. I haven't talked to this guy in forever, and he's just a fucking meth head now, and he's he believes that he's married to Taylor Swift. It's this whole thing, and only one other person in my life now that I talk to knows who this guy is, and she's the only person who we could talk about how crazy it is that fucking this guy became this.
What a shame.
It's heartbreaking, man, and
yeah, and you gotta, sometimes you sit there and you think, fuck, how did that happen? How did, it could happen to anybody, really, right? But just be thankful. So you look at stuff I knew a kid in high school that skipped 2 grades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking genius, right? And then, like, we both went to university together. I was in university to become a doctor, by the way. I was found out very quickly I'm the furthest thing from it, you know?
Okay.
But this guy was fucking brilliant, you know? And I'm watching him, like, he could do things in school that was, like, unbelievable, right? And then the other day I find out he didn't graduate and he was arrested. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, God, how does something like that happen? You know? And I think, what a shame to throw away. Because I was like, the one thing that I knew for sure was like, he's so much smarter than I am. Naturally.
Yeah.
Way smarter.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, if I had that kind of gift, dude, like, why would you fucking throw that away, right? But alas, it happens all the time. It happens every... Have you ever been to shady part? You ever been to Los Angeles or, like, San Francisco?
No.
You see it everywhere. You look around and you're just like, this place is fucking evil. And under the guise of, like, mansions and Rolls Royces and shit. It's like, but if you... Because I've been to LA, I don't know, many times. And, you know, it's one of those things, people go there with this hope, and you watch it just get sucked out of people, you know? And it's sad to see. And those are the same people that end up messaging you on Facebook, you know?
Yeah.
Right? But it is what it is, you know? Nothing you can do about it, unfortunately.
Fuck. I am glad I got out of there, though, dude. Alright, so I guess we can get into top 5. But before we do, because I usually do superheroes every episode. So, like, what's the thing with superheroes? Or is it just, like, too huge? Because, like, you can explain in a second, but, like, I'm big on, like, when Avatar came out. It was, like, this huge thing, and everyone was like, yo, it's the greatest. And I never saw it for, like, 5-6 years, dude.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, and I was like, like, I find, like, a lot of the times when there's too much hype around something, it's hard. And there's been other things that there's been a lot of hype, and I didn't watch, like, 8 Mile. There's a lot of hype around that shit. Didn't watch it for a while.
That's so funny.
And then when I watched it, eventually I was like, this is fucking good.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
Like, so it doesn't, it's not always one-sided, but like...
Yeah. I've seen tons of superhero movies. Ironically enough, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Dark Knight, but I appreciate it for, like, there's a thing for me. I'm
Are you
so...
a Nolan guy? You like really like Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but I hear that's pretty good. But there's something to me, like, I'm so grounded in reality with it's to a fault sometimes, where I'm just so hyper practical, where I see things that I'm like, no fucking way. I'm sorry, no chance. You know?
Yeah.
I think a great movie is when you can bring it to the line of reality, right? Like, okay, The Dark Knight, technically possible for someone to be like, okay, whatever, he's a billionaire. Like, is it in the smallest percentile in the world that would be reasonable? Yes. But possible? Yes, right? And then you go and you watch something like fucking Thor. Yeah. And you're like, what is this? This is crap, dude. Yeah. And it's just like, I get it, and people love it, right?
There's a lot of it I don't like, and I think it's
look at how it's
very
become now. It's
Yeah.
terrible, right?
But like Joker, did you see Joker?
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the Joker.
All right.
But I like I mean, I am in acting school.
Oh,
a lot
really?
of people, yeah. I did it because people told me to do it, right? So I've always appreciated. There's something so awesome where you get fucking mad at someone on screen and you're like, it's not even who they are, you know? You know how good you have to be to convince someone that you're like whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine being cast as a serial killer? You're not a serial killer, but you go on screen, you convince people you're a serial killer, and you're like, this is a pretty powerful thing, right?
It is, yeah.
But for someone to sit there and be like, yeah, dude, I got this fucking hammer, right? And it just crushes everything, and I'm like, nope, sorry, I
can appreciate
that.
No
way. The Joker, this is a broken man.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's very dark and shot very dark, right? But like, what did I see? I saw what was the one with Aquaman.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck am I watching? You know? Like,
Okay.
he's like, yeah, and here I am, commanding all of the great white sharks in the ocean. And I'm like, nope. You lost me, dude. But then again, that's what I mean. Is like, if you look at a lot of the TV and movies that I watch, that I really, really like, it's like, they're so rooted in reality, like it's possible.
What are you watching right now?
I'm rewatching The Sopranos.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Have you seen, and I just finished, have you seen Barry?
Oh,
with Bill Hader?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
No.
That's a good one.
A couple people have recommended that.
Was incredible, right? Do you post this on YouTube? Or,
yeah, I post it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and
okay,
fucking Spotify.
Cool. And do you ever get do you ever get some mean messages?
I haven't. No.
No.
I've had originally when I put it on YouTube, I was getting like I don't know, just like spam shit. So I made it so like every comment has to go through me.
So fucking.
So I have to approve every comment because it was just like, yo.
You have some random and someone's just like, "Ooh, I just turned 18. Do you want to see my tits?" And you're, "Oh fuck, this is a spam account."
Yeah, that's
so
the
funny.
kind of shit that I have. I haven't dealt with any negative. You said you had a podcast before we started. What happened with that?
I actually, to this day, I mean, we have something in the works of how we want to reincorporate. We built an entire studio, like by hand.
Yeah.
Like we put the friggin' framing up in the wall. I'll show you photos after. This thing was good, dude. We spent a lot of money making this thing, and it looked good and it sounded good. But I remember sitting there talking to my buddy about it, my buddy Ryan, and I was like, "What do we do?" I was like, "How do you get people to watch this show?" I was like, "What do we do? We're just two guys having a conversation." Like there was never a structure to the show. It was like a beautiful show with no content, you know. And then I was like, "We can't fucking film this thing if we don't know what we do," you know. Mm-hmm. It was so. For instance, people be like, "Okay." Take the Joe Rogan experience. It's like what he does is he interviews people. Sometimes they're his friends. Sometimes he doesn't know them at all. It's like, but that's where you get your interest in watching a show like that or whatever podcasters. There is something they do, and I was like, we don't do anything. We're just two guys who sit here and talk. No one knows who we are. Why would we give anybody incentive to tune into this show? You know, I like yours has. Like there's every do you do this with every person, the top 5 thing?
Yeah.
So okay, well that's what you do. You know what I mean? Whereas like we didn't do fucking shit. We just got cooked off our asses and sat there and talked. And yeah, there's funny moments I guess you can clip from it. I was like, but it's not sustainable. So you have to make something sustainable before we bring it back.
Yeah, dude. All right. So what do you want to start? What do you want to start the top 5 with?
I'm cool with whatever, dude.
Okay.
You know, you asked me. The toughest one I found was the top 5 comedians. Because I was like, well, I can give you like my top 5 for Toronto. I could give you my top 5 for who I watch. But like, does this make them the best? I could give you my top 5 comedians that don't even do stand-up. You know what I mean? Like, that one I found to be the most difficult.
All right. You want to start with that? I'll do mine first.
Okay.
I've done them a few times. So comedians we'll start with. So Rogan.
Sure.
Joe Rogan. Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Mark Forward.
Okay.
George Carlin.
Sure. Yeah.
Bill Burr.
Okay.
If I was putting a lady in there, like
that's so funny that you even think you have to.
No. I'm just I did
the same
honestly,
thing.
if I was doing like a top 10, like she might be my 6th.
Maria Bamford.
No. Adrian Appalucci.
Okay.
And she's on the Degenerates special, so like Netflix did this like
I know.
short
I've
specials.
Seen it. Big J. Okerson,
he was on one of them. Yeah, and so
yeah.
Adrienne Appalucci, she had like a 15-minute thing on there, and she's like opening for Louis C.K. and like she's just not your typical female. Also, if we're talking about other females, I really like Taylor Tomlinson.
Tomlinson?
She's like newer.
Oh, I know who
I'm really like. I kind of dig her.
Okay, cool.
Who you got though?
My top 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Top 5 stand-up comedians. Probably number 1 would be Ricky Gervais. Number 2 would be Dave Chappelle. 3 would be like Bill Burr. I mean, frankly, like you can put them in any which way. And then Doug Stanhope would be in there too.
Oh, nice. Did you ever see Super Jaime?
Super Jaime? No.
Yeah, that was him, wasn't it? Doug Stanhope?
Maybe.
Or am I thinking of another Doug? Another stand-up comedian.
No, you're thinking of Doug Benson.
That's who I'm thinking of. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I confused the two.
No. Doug Stanhope, and then I don't know. That last lot's forever changing.
Yeah.
Like I watched. Do you know who Nick Mullen is?
No.
He was part. Do you know Stavros Halakis or whatever his name is? Like these are. So. Nick Mullen just released a special on YouTube. Mm-hmm. He's from a very, very one of the most successful Patreon podcasts of all time, right? And he released a special on YouTube not too long ago. I laughed my ass off watching it.
Yeah,
like it was so funny. And so like that number 5. If I had to add a woman in there, I'd say Maria Bamford, and that's it. None of them are fun. I'm just
yeah. The only funny one. Paul, you're an idiot. Those.
Taylor who? Shut up, Paul.
Yeah.
I just want to hear about Maria Bamford, and that's it. But non-stand-up too. Like, do you know? Like, I think Nathan Fielder is so funny. Do you know who that is? You ever seen Nathan For You?
I don't know.
It's so funny. His awkwardness. It fills my heart how funny it is because he makes people so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it kills me. He had this show called, I think it might have been his first show. It's called Nathan For You. And he goes to struggling businesses, real struggling businesses, and gives them alternatives in how to boost sales. But the way he gives you alternatives of how to do it is like so there's the first episode is like an ice cream shop that's struggling in Southern California. And they go, okay, well, we're not selling enough fucking ice cream. He goes, no problem. And like the way he does is like, we have solutions and stuff like that. And he goes, so what are we doing? Poo flavored ice cream. And it's like, the reality is, if you found out a place had shit flavored ice cream, you'd be like, I want to see it, at least. So you're definitely driving traction to it. It's like, but it's so stupid, right? And it's very real. And then obviously, a guy who's blown up recently, Tim Robinson. You ever watch I Think You Should Leave?
No, someone at work was telling me to watch that shit.
Bro, it is so unbelievably funny. I don't know why either. Like, there's a chaos involved in it that just kills me every time. But yeah, there's so many great comedians out there that, like, it's whoever I'm, like, it's forever changing for me. Obviously, you'll have those 5 where, like, no matter what, I'm going to watch their special, right? Like, those are 5 comedians that I'm like, I'll pay to come see you, right? I paid to watch Ricky Gervais. I've never seen Chappelle. I couldn't afford it. And I've seen Bill Burr.
My lady got me Chappelle tickets for Christmas last year, dude. Yeah.
Fuck, those were
I legit looked at them and I was like, nope, can't do it. And I expressed to her how frustrated, and I got them for Christmas, bro. Yeah. Like, oh, you fuck. You won Christmas this year.
Yeah. I lost that battle. You just start mopping the floor.
Yeah.
Fuck, I suck, dude. Yeah. Chappelle was... his new special's coming out on the 31st.
All right, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he hasn't done much promo for it.
He doesn't need to. You know, he's fucking the Eminem of comedy. People are just, Eminem dropped an album at midnight. No one knew about it. Fucking millions of downloads.
Oh, it's just, absolutely, absolutely.
Let's do Christmas movies.
All right, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Home Alone 1 and 2.
Fuck,
for sure.
You got me beat there.
Santa Claus. The first one.
The one with the...
Tim Allen?
Tim Allen, right.
Yeah, it's funny because
great. I like that movie.
I rewatched it with my lady a couple years ago.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I was looking at it through different eyes just because I was like... My lady didn't grow up in Canada, so she just didn't celebrate Christmas really until she met me.
Okay. Where's your lady from?
And so, Middle East, like Dubai.
Oh, okay. That's so funny. What are you so hesitant to say? That's a good place, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
My lady's from, you're like, she was from,
No, I'm not.
She was
I'm
in
not
the
really...
Taliban.
No, yeah, right.
She hasn't seen a TV.
Fucking Palestine. No, but seriously, like, so like showing her the Santa Claus, I was looking at it through different eyes. Like, it was like this great, and it's good. And like, I believe that Christmas movies need, like, I don't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I've said this. I feel like there needs to be a certain charm. If that's on your list,
okay.
Cool. But I feel like, for me, there needs to be, like, this corny charm to, like, a Christmas movie. And the Santa Claus has it.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, you watch it, and it's, like, there's one scene where you can legit see, like, the stunt wires on Tim Allen when he's on, like, the roof. Like, sometimes, like, we just accept it.
Have you ever seen Harold and Kumar?
Yeah.
I rewatched it like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And there's a scene where they're
what
riding...
one, the first one?
First one.
Okay.
Where they're riding a cheetah, right?
Yeah.
Like, they get this cheetah high as fuck, and now they're riding it, which, again, I don't know how I watched it at a young age, but like, yeah, legit, you know? But you watch it, it's so bad. Like, it's so terrible, and I was like, you don't even... It goes to show you how far we've come in terms of... like fucking video games and movies and shit like that.
Yeah, man. The second one though, so funny, dude.
What?
Escape
That was
from
the
Guantanamo
Escape from
Bay?
Guantanamo Bay.
Oh
Sure,
my
yeah.
god, there were so many.
Yeah,
good
there
moments.
was some great quotable moments from that movie.
The fucking who's the guy who plays the cop? Just the real stupid cop.
Oh,
fucking what's his name? He's hilarious, dude.
Fuck.
He's in fucking Hot Tub Time Machine. Damn it.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah. Okay. Christmas movies.
Jingle All the Way. That's my number 3.
Okay.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, bro.
Sinbad? Oh my god.
Yeah, Sinbad was like the fucking the bad guy.
He was that's so funny. Yeah, okay.
Sinbad was the shit, dude. He has some good fucking I love Sinbad, dude. And honestly, one of his specials is like legit one of my favorite specials of all time.
Really?
It's
That's
called
amazing.
Where You Been. It's like real relationship heavy.
Okay.
So like
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
if you haven't seen it, it's a good one to watch with your lady for
I just
sure.
remember hearing he doesn't swear or something. He's clean comedian.
I don't
right?
even know. I've never even
Yeah.
like I don't know.
That's 'cause
wild.
Someone told me that once. They were like, Sinbad, his mom saw him do stand-up, and he swore, and his mom cried, and he vowed to never do
That's
swear
crazy,
again.
dude.
And someone told me, and I just remember hearing him be like, ugh.
Yeah. I had no idea.
I mean, that's a very sweet story, but I didn't grow up in a house like that.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
my mom would be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah. So Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2, those are kind of like newer ones.
Okay.
Like Netflix did them, and then The Night Before, which is kind of like a comedy. Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, that's on Netflix right now. I was
Yeah.
actually thinking about watching that
That's
the
a
other day.
solid. That's a solid comedy. And also, like, if I was saying a number 6, I just watched it, but it also doesn't really fully feel like a Christmas movie because it's just like it's almost too funny. But The Office Christmas Party.
The British one?
Is there one called?
Oh, yes, the one with T.J. Miller.
Yeah,
I just watched
that's the
it.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. You know what's a great line in that movie? Probably the hardest that made me laugh, where they're talking about... I watched it in the theaters when it came out years ago.
Okay.
And the only thing I remembered from it was, 1, Jimmy Butler's in it for some reason. And 2, when he's like, dude, Dad used to throw legendary Christmas parties. It's like, do you remember blah, blah, blah from accounting? He broke his pelvis for a rotisserie chicken. And like... Yeah, that was a good one. Are you like a big Christmas movie guy? Do you watch them all year round, or is it just because this?
Not
Like,
really.
do you ask people
This
in
is
July what Christmas movies they watch?
No,
Okay,
never.
I got
I'm
you.
literally only doing this because you're the last episode before Christmas.
Wow, well that's friggin' legendary. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Fitting that you'd have such a quality guest.
I had Matt Render one year, and I like for
Holy
some
fuck,
reason.
yeah.
Well, I just skipped my mind that he was Jewish, bro.
Well,
he was here.
He's not. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't show it, that's for sure, you know? Like, you look at Zakai, and you look at 2 different guys, both Jewish, though, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I feel like Matt Render watches Christmas movies.
Yeah,
What
he
a
had some.
Fucking
He
liar.
had some.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
He's like, no, sorry, brother, I'm in the synagogue. And you're
Yeah,
like, no,
like,
you're
I only
watching
watch
Christmas.
Hanukkah movies, bro.
That's just Sandler stuff, bro. That's amazing. I don't know, top 5 Christmas movies. For sure, Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah, right.
I love Home Alone 1. Like, both of them are great because I've only been to New York City once, and I have this weird, like, fantasy in my head about New York City. I don't know why, but, like, I want to go back so bad. I have a rule, is that I won't travel somewhere unless I have a reason to go there, right? Because, I mean, there's just, like, I have a show in Vancouver coming up next March.
Nice.
And part of the reason was so that I could just go to Vancouver, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I can't sell that to my girlfriend. I can't just be like, do you want to go to Vancouver? She's going to be like, why?
Yeah.
And, like, you know, you go somewhere, you can at least expense portions of the flight and the stay and stuff like that. So, you know, New York City, I want to go so bad, but, like, I know I'm not going to get booked there yet, and I'm just sitting in my room sometimes, like, How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna end up in New York? And like Home Alone 2 is part of the reason that like New York is so like you think of the plaza and like it's Christmas and the snow on the ground. It's so like beautiful in my mind, right?
Yeah.
I bet you I'm gonna show up and be like, there's human shit on the ground. That's nice. Like
I've never been, man. I've never been. I'd like to go.
I went briefly for like 3 days with my girlfriend, and it was so cool.
Did you get to perform while you were out there?
Yeah, I performed, but like I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
You know, I did a whole bunch of shows, but like you know, with you know, like you have a business. I can't write off a flight and not make money while I'm there. They're gonna be like, it's not how shit works, dude. You know, so I have to show some sort of income, right? And it's just New York is such a. I'll make money in Los Angeles far before I'll make it in New York. I just have this weird feeling in my mind. But yeah, Home Alone 1, 2, for sure. I actually really like Santa Claus as well, to be honest with you. And then after that, like I like the what is it? It's like almost claymation. You know what I'm talking about?
Just Nightmare Before Christmas?
No, it's not Nightmare Before Christmas. There's like a Yeti in it. It's like it's so old and iconic. I can't remember the name of it, but I see it every year on the TV.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it's Christmas time. And then like another one too. Like my family watches True Lies.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
Okay.
I know it's not a Christmas movie, but
Yeah.
like when True Lies is on, it just makes me feel like Christmas. Other than that, I'm very weird with how I watch movies, dude. Like, I want my household to be like, oh, it's Christmas. We're going to watch The Exorcist. Like,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
two polar opposite
Okay.
things, right? Although I know that shit will never fly with my girlfriend. I'm the only one who enjoys horror movies. She'll participate in it, but she won't enjoy it.
Yeah, my lady was trying to set up the tree and watch Christmas movies as soon as Halloween was over, bro. Like, she's really into it now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she went from, like, nothing to, like, just being real aggressive about it. And now we have a daughter, so...
Oh, yes.
But I was like, December 1st. And so,
Yeah.
like, we've been watching slowly. Not every day, but we've been watching Christmas movies. And Home Alone is, like, probably the only Christmassy movie that I watch all year round. Like, it's kind of like
Sure.
my feel good. Like, if I'm just like sick or what the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
ever, the world's got me down.
Sure.
You know.
Home Alone's a good one for that. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. And so, you know, that house went on sale not too long ago, eh?
Did it? Eh?
Yeah. Fucking
How
10
much?
bedrooms. 10 bedrooms, like 6,000 square feet. I don't know where it is. I think in Illinois.
It looked. Last time I saw it, it looked different. Like they took the driveway.
Yeah.
The driveway out. And
My
made it
guess
just
is probably like, I don't know. I mean, wait, can I pull it up?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if we can.
No, go ahead.
My guess, 4 million. I could be wrong though. Home Alone house for sale. I saw it the other day. You're like, this is dead air.
It's okay.
We're. You're like, come on, Thomas, we're losing them. I don't know. We'll pull up. My
All
guess
right.
is 4 million.
All right, it's okay. I'll figure it out and I'll fucking show something.
In post edit, yeah, that's so funny. You just have AI, my voice, and be like, it's $9 million. Like,
Can they do that? Like I
Oh,
don't
fuck yeah.
fuck with AI, man. It
Oh,
seems
yeah.
all weird. I don't fuck with none of that stuff.
I don't. It's impressive.
Yeah?
At first I was like, this thing's silly, and then someone's like, have you used it? And I was like, no. And they're like, you should try. And I was like, okay, sure. And then I tried it, and I was like, wow, it's pretty fucking good.
I saw there was like it was like
The picture
poster
one.
designers.
Oh,
you know, like
no, I
you
make
could
my
just-
own posters. I would never ask it. To
No,
make- yeah.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like I've seen like just posts that say like poster designers are gonna like be obsolete because like AI
Sure.
can do them so well,
Sure.
and it's like
Well,
I don't
poster
know.
designers, dude, here's the thing as well. For the show I do with Dimmy, the jazz show, we originally were like, okay, let's come together. Let's have someone make us a poster, right? And Dimmy had a credit on Fiverr, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And so we picked the best guy, you know, because he had like $160 credit. This guy charged us $110 for the poster, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes back to us, and me and Dimmy were like, this thing fucking sucks. Like, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was, I make ones, I was like, I make it way better, right? And I would never feel good charging. So there's like that weird, like, in between of being like, oh, is AI bad, or are you just bad at your fucking job? You know? It's like, you're going to charge me $110 for something that looks like it took you 3 minutes, you know? How are you going to get mad at AI? You're just bad at your job, you know? If you were phenomenal at it, and you were actually worth the $110, you probably wouldn't be bitching and complaining, you know? But AI is very cool.
Toni Collette movies. You want to start that one? You wanna
that's
do that
another
one first?
interesting one too, right? Because Toni Collette, it's not so much that there's like, I seek out movies with her in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, if you look at, because again, I'm interested in acting. I've never done it. Like I said, I go to school for it, but I've never been on like set. But I'm very interested in it. And if you watch the depth and like spectrum that Toni Collette is, like, so you watch her in Knives Out, fun character, right? And then you watch her in that, oh, you know what? Here's the one to add to the Christmas movies that is a piece of crap. I think it's called Krampus. You ever heard of it?
Yeah.
She's in that.
Okay.
This like kind of quirky mom, right? And then you watch her in Hereditary.
Yeah.
And you're like, someone who can act across the like, have you seen Hereditary?
Yeah.
That scene where she is like crying after finding out what happens to the daughter in the car. I was so uncomfortable watching that. It was so real in that moment, right? And I remember hearing her talk about it, and she's like, "What? I just pretend." And I was like, "You are so good at it, then." Because like that boggles my mind to think someone being like, you can hit that. It was just so. It was like disturbing to watch, right? And I was like, "Wow, you're so good." Because I think about myself, like, well, what if I was cast to fucking have to cry like that? And I was like, I don't know how I would even begin to do something like that, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
She got robbed of an Oscar nomination. They don't ever nominate horror movies, which, whatever. Okay, fine. Like, stupid.
Is that like just like an unofficial thing, or is that like
yeah, it's an unofficial thing.
Okay.
Like, I think the only one ever was like Silence of the Lambs.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, I think my favorite Toni Collette movies are Hereditary for sure. It was so scary. I thought, at least. Some people disagree with me.
I liked it.
I thought it was so scary. But, yeah. Who's your favorite actor?
Oh, my favorite actor? Shoot, that's hard. I mean, he's fallen on hard times, but I did like Will Smith. Or I do like Will Smith.
As a comedian, you can still like him?
It's hard, right? It's such a... Fuck. I don't really want to get into it too much, but it's just like... I'm like so 50-50 on the thing where I'm like, because I'm so in the middle, I just have chosen to not even really talk about it, because I'm like, well, if like, on one hand, I'm a comedian and I do perform on stage, and I think we should have some like liberties, and I also don't think it was a super offensive joke. G.I. Jane was fucking sexy. And like, so like there's that, but then there's also like, if someone was talking shit about my lady, and like, I mean, I'm not saying all the time, but like I could definitely see some justification for being like, dude, you crossed the line.
Stage on live
That's not what
TV.
I'm saying. No. I'm just saying, like, just if someone was getting out of line and say,
but that wasn't out of line.
They crossed my line where I was like, this offends me. I don't think it was that bad. I don't think it warranted what he did. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying, like, sometimes when people talk shit, they get hit. That just,
Sure,
and I lean more towards probably shouldn't have done it, but then there's also I definitely lean towards shouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it if I was in his shoes. But then there's also like, was it fake? Was it like this thing? There's that angle. I don't necessarily think, but there's always a possibility, because if it was fake, like, Chris Rock came out looking like a superstar and Will Smith did not. And for it to be fake, like, there's kind of got to be like a win-win thing. I
made an entire poster out of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I promoted a show with like the fucking, like, the second it happened,
yeah,
I had a show to sell, and I was like, I clipped it so fast, and then I posted it, like, I mean, I don't do it anymore because it doesn't return great yield, but, like, I posted it around Toronto, everywhere.
Just super proud of this one.
Comedians were messaging me being like, is this your show? I scanned a QR code, because it was just a photo, like, when he just slapped him, and he's like, it was great. It was great. But yeah.
And here's also the thing I think people need to take into account. Will Smith has had, like, a blemish-free career his whole career. He didn't even swear until, like, 6 years ago. Dude, you know what I mean?
But look at the size difference.
I know.
But Will Smith is like 6'2",
I agree with that too. Yeah.
220. Chris Rock's not a big guy, dude.
No, he's not. He's like my size, bro.
Go on stage and fucking hit him?
Yeah.
It was and not
this like, going on stage thing is also what I was like. It's drawn.
Well, here's the
too
thing
far.
too. If you're at a restaurant, you know, and the dude at the table across is talking shit about your wife, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. You want to go beat his ass? Go beat his ass, right? You go to an event where there's a host who is a famous stand-up comedian, and you know there's a good possibility you're there tonight to get lightly made fun of. This is the only way people are going to watch this fucking show, by the way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to be celebrities sucking each other's dicks about how great they are and how phenomenal it is. No one's going to watch that, so you have to create a reason to watch it.
Mm.
And so you still hit him? You know?
Yeah.
I feel bad for
Definitely
him because of what
wasn't a good
happened
move.
with his wife and stuff like that, right? But, you know, for sure don't do that.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Anyway.
All right. So am I doing my Toni Collette movies?
Oh, you're a Toni Collette fan as well?
Well, I fucking do them too.
Oh,
I
sure.
Just do
okay.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number one is Stowaway.
Okay.
Which is, I believe it's a Netflix one, and it's just about, like, I'm not into sci-fi, but I like space movies, like realistic space movies.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
like
of course.
that kind of thing. And these guys were just going into space, and they had enough food and enough supplies to get them to where they were going, but someone else was on board.
Okay.
And so it created a lot of problems because they were going to run out of resources.
Sure.
And Sixth Sense.
Oh right, yeah.
I just Wikipedia and I was like, oh shit, she's in a lot of movies that I like actually.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2. Hereditary is my number 3. One of the better newer horror movies. Like we can do horror villains after this, but I definitely prefer a lot of the older school horror movies. You know,
in terms of scary, I don't think there's any movie out there scarier.
Oh yeah,
but
okay.
I mean, we're two different.
If I was going scariest movie for me was the Blair Witch Project, the original one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was probably mine.
Paranormal Activity is my Blair Witch
That's
Project.
a good one.
You know what I mean?
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a generational thing almost because when you watch The Exorcist, you know, at least my father watches The Exorcist as a young man. This is scary as shit, right? Mm-hmm. I watch The Exorcist as someone who's just played fucking on a PS5.
Yeah.
Not even the same thing, right?
Yeah, I got
so
you.
I totally respect that.
All right, so Hereditary, and then Enough Said.
Okay.
Which has fucking
Will Smith.
No, it doesn't. Fucking Tony Soprano. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Gandolfini.
Yeah, James Gandolfini, and fucking what's her? I'm horrible with names. Marie Louise Dreyfus.
Oh, Dreyfus? Yeah.
There you go. So it's like kind of like a romantic comedy, but she's in it.
Oh yes, I do. I actually know what movie you're talking about.
And then Changing Lanes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
That's it's Ben Affleck and I want to say Wesley. No, Denzel Washington. I think.
Okay.
I think I might be wrong. Fuck. Anyway,
that's so funny. You're like, just.
It's one of those black
Denzel is in it.
One of those good-looking black actors.
Yeah.
All right. Horror.
I think Jay-Z was in it.
Oh my god. LL Cool J, bro.
Yeah.
He died in some horror. No, he was in Halloween though, wasn't he?
He was also no. That was Busta Rhymes.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
This is just making it worse.
That's so funny. LL Cool J was in Deep Blue Sea. He was the chef. Yeah.
Okay.
He goes, "You killed my bird," or some shit like that.
Fucking Deep Blue Sea. That wasn't bad, yo.
That was good.
All right, horror villains.
Sure.
You want to do it?
Yeah. Sure. My number one spot's tied because I don't know. It's probably Michael Myers or Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right.
Again, with the whole rooted in reality thing. I never was a fan of the movie Hellraiser. I liked it. I thought it was cool. He's an iconic character. I'm like, but it's too... Is it possible there's a dude in Texas right now who's just deformed, fucking sawing people in half? Yes. Unlikely, but totally possible.
He is based on...
Ed Gein, I think.
Yeah.
But this...
Yeah.
He never... Yeah, he wasn't sawing people down, or picking up hitchhikers and murdering them and shit, right?
He did fucking shit out of... Have you seen, like, the
I
skin
saw some
stuff?
photos, yeah. He had, like, lamps and shit, but eating soup out of someone's head.
Wild stuff, dude.
Yeah, my number 3, if this even counts, I think it does. I think this is one of the most iconic horror characters of all time, and it goes underrated. The shark from Jaws.
Oh, sick.
That movie scared the life out of people. Didn't want to go in the fucking water. You didn't want to go into your lake. You're like, there's no sharks in a lake, dude. And you're like, nah, it was too traumatizing. It traumatized me, and I watched it, like, pretty young, and I remember thinking, like, there is something just so spooky. I mean, I'm a shark enthusiast, you know? I have them tattooed all over my arm and shit, but, like, there is just something spooky about being yanked underwater by... You can't do shit against it, you know?
Yeah.
Again, rooted in reality. People actually get killed by great whites. Not often, let the records show.
Let the records show.
Because people, dude, I'm going cage diving next year, and people are like, sick. Are you insane? I'm like, what, do you think I'm getting in the water with something that's going to look at me and be like, I'm fucking killing this guy? Oh, they could get in.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, no question. Oh, yeah. The cage is just there to make you feel good. Right? Okay. If a great white wants to get in the cage, oh, absolutely it could get in. Not gonna, though.
Yeah.
They're not killing machines, right? They don't particularly like humans either, right? But, yeah, people are like, what, are you fucking mental? Like, okay.
That's pretty sweet, though.
Yeah. Number 4, that's a good question. Probably Freddy Krueger.
All right.
He's legendary. And then, actually, no, 4 would be Jason Voorhees. And then 5 would be Freddy Krueger for sure. Because again, like there is something, even though this is probably the line where I draw about like the suspense of disbelief, right? Where it is kind of scary to think like you can't stop yourself from sleeping. If you go like 2 days without sleep, you're going to just naturally fall asleep. And to think that is when he does his work against you, you're like, fuck, you're doing your best to stay awake. And that's its own certain type of torture, you know? But yeah.
All right. I dig that. I think we only have one in common. Leatherface, that's my number 1.
Cool.
I always liked, and I don't like all of the movies, but the idea of Jigsaw, just someone you wake up in a spot, you know you're a shit person, you did some shit.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and like there's always
killing nurses.
Yeah, right? I like that. Chucky was probably...
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I think it might have been... He might have... And obviously not super menacing, but like I remember watching the original Child's Play movies, and like there's like one scene where, I think it's the 3rd one, where a guy gets like, Chucky just crushes him in the back of a garbage truck.
Okay.
And like, for the longest time, that was like the craziest shit that I had ever seen.
Yeah.
It still stands out in my mind. And then this one's like a little weird because you'd never actually see them, but the Blair Witch, it just goes with like,
okay.
That's my scariest, like the scariest movie I think to me was that. And like obviously now I know, but I remember when it first came out, there wasn't like a Google where you could like check out the actors,
you could fact check
and there
stuff.
Wasn't like certain things. You know?
Did you actually, when you first saw it, did you actually, a piece of you was like, fuck, we just
like,
saw
for the
film.
first like 6 months it was like that, but then it started like winning awards, and then we're like, for sure.
Oh, so there was actually like people were like, yo, that was real.
Yeah, dude.
Really?
At least in my, like I was young when it first came out, right?
Brilliant marketing, eh?
But just they did such a good job with keeping it like,
create a movie and be like.
Yeah, and I mean, if you might have been able to like somehow figure it out, but like I was young and I didn't go like whatever and look at certain faces, and I don't know.
It was great acting too.
Yeah,
especially the one scene. I've only seen it once or twice, but where the guy was like, "Yeah, I threw the map away," and you're like, "Oh, you're fucked." You know what I mean? Where they're walking around, he's like, "Where's the map?" And he's like, "Oh, I tossed it." And you're like, what? As a viewer?
Yeah.
Are you your fucking mind? And you try to put yourself into that position, right?
Oh my god.
That's the thing I think when people say they're not afraid of horror movies is like you actually don't. You just watch a horror movie and you go, no, bullshit. No, I'd run. I'd go that way. It's like when I watch horror movies, I try to actually put myself into that position.
Yeah,
like,
man. Yeah.
You know?
And there's actually, so there's this one time, I've been like over 10 years clean. Well, I used to do some stuff, and there was like one time I was like, okay, I had done, I had like these mushrooms, like a bunch of mushrooms. I don't know exactly how much it was, but they were in like ice cube trays. It was like a group of us, like maybe like 8 to 10 of us. And we just did a whole bunch of
mushrooms
drugs.
or like mushrooms in ice.
So it was mushrooms with like melted chocolate, and we put it in like an ice cube tray, and we ate it like that.
That was probably disgusting. I bet
it wasn't the best, but it was better than just eating like the mushrooms.
Oh,
like
yeah.
man, they taste like garbage.
Sure.
And so I did some acid, and I also did a bit of ketamine. And so like so I was with it was a wild fucking night.
What
dude.
a cocktail, dude.
Just okay. So there's one car, and we did the mushrooms at whoever's house we were at, and we drove to like this park that was kind of in the middle of nowhere, but in Brampton. It was like it's just a little bit north of Trinity Commons.
Okay.
And we go to this park, but we're doing trips in a car. You know, we did like I think there was like maybe 2 or 3 trips. And I was in like the first trip, and I get there, and there's another like someone who's like a friend of a friend who's there, and he's like, I got some K. And I was like, I was like super new to like the drug world, but I had done it a couple times, and so like he gave me like a bump that was like the size of like my thumbnail, bro. And I had already done like some acid and mushrooms, and it was just kind of waiting for it to hit me. And then I did this bump, and I just remember laying on a picnic bench and like just the craziest, like just shooting stars, just craziness. My girlfriend arrives. I sober up a tiny bit because I'm like, oh shit. I'm way too fucked up.
Yeah.
And by this point, like, I'm having a hard time walking already. Like, everyone arrived to the park. Last car got there. Paul's already fucked up. We gotta hold him.
So was everybody on this kind of cocktail?
Everyone was on. Other people were doing other things. Like, I wasn't really into, like, coke and stuff. I was more into, like, psychedelics and things like that. And so other people were doing stuff, but everyone did mushrooms, and the majority of people did acid. And we were all just having a crazy night. And across the street from where the park was, there was like this abandoned house. And at some point, we're like, fucking, let's go check it out. Definitely not my idea, but like, I wasn't really controlling where I was walking. They're like, we're going this way. And so we finally get to the house, and I've regained some of like my motor skills, yo. And I go, and we're walking into the house, and the main floor and like the biggest room of the house completely like hollowed out, and we almost like walked into it. And so we're like, all right, I guess we're not going there. And so we kind of we all go different ways. And I'm walking down the stairs very slowly. And I get downstairs, and my buddy Joe was like literally standing in the corner, dude, like Blair Witch shit. Bro, I can't explain to you, but like shortly after that, I felt like, I think it's time to get sober. I don't know, you know, like that wasn't exactly how, like.
What a mean fucking prank to play.
It was horrible, man. And he knew what was up. And, like, I just fucking freaked out, man. And
I bet.
It's like, we're leaving this fucking house, like, right now. And he was, like, laughing, but I was like, nah, like, ha ha ha.
That's so fucking funny. That's terrible
that
someone would do
that's
that.
That's my Blair Witch story. And, what did I say? Oh, yeah, number 5, Ghostface. I had a hard time. I was going to pick Jason Voorhees or Ghostface, but I went with, Ghostface.
All right, Ghostface is solid.
What else do we got left? Pies? Is that it? That's what we got left.
Pies?
You look like you're a man that can enjoy some pies. I fucking love pies. I just wanted to do something that was kind of out of left field, so I can go first if you want.
Okay, sure.
Coconut cream. Shout out. First of all, I just want to shout out Poontang and Cream. We know what's up. Best pie. No, wait. I'm not doing that.
I was like, wait, what? That's so funny.
No, seriously, number 1. Because, there'd be some motherfucker that's, like, I'm a chef, bro. Like, when I say pies, I was like, for real, like, pies. You know? Like, you know?
Do you count, like, chicken pot pies, though?
That's on my list.
Okay.
So coconut cream, number 1. Pecan, number 2.
Wow.
Pumpkin, apple, and then chicken pot pie.
Okay. Yeah. That's solid.
That's what I like.
Did you ask the pie question because I'm here today?
No.
Oh, that's so funny.
No.
I was like, what'd you ask Matt Render's favorite exercises?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the fucking
No,
pie
I swear,
guy?
no,
God damn it.
That's not,
No, I'm just joking. My favorite one, definitely pecan pie.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be coconut cream pie. 3 would be tortilla pie. You ever had tortilla pie?
Is that like minced meat?
It's minced meat, yeah. And then after that, probably strawberry rhubarb.
Nice. That's a good one.
And then, but only made a certain, like, I worked in the bakery at Costco, so we used to make so many fucking,
Costco has some decent stuff, bro.
Cool, yeah, Costco has great stuff.
I really like their muffins.
Sure. Oh, yeah, buddy. Holy fuck. I've made thousands of those. Yeah, the muffins are solid. I can't stand pumpkin pies.
Really, eh?
You ever make one?
Yeah.
Fucking nightmare.
Oh, to make them?
They're gross looking.
Yeah.
There's like a sludge, and then like you don't even really I guess there's a way of testing if it's baked or not, but the accuracy's not. People will be like, oh, it can't jiggle too much, but it can't not jiggle, and you're like, what? Okay.
All right.
And key lime pie. I love
key lime pie. That's a good.
Yeah. That's solid.
I mean, it's hard to have a bad pie, really. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. You can do your.
Okay. Have you gotten along well with your teachers, coaches, bosses, etc.? Someone who is.
Well, like I said before we realized that the fucking camera stopped recording, I struggled a lot in high school and stuff. I think before college, let me just make sure I answer this right. Yeah, there was a few teachers in high school. There's one English teacher that I played guitar with. He was kind of cool. He seemed like more than just a teacher there. He actually like cared about the kids he was teaching and stuff. It was more than just a job to him. But really, until I got into college, I didn't. I guess I had a lot of problem with authority, I think, and that just led to me just questioning pretty much everyone that was in a position of authority over me.
Right.
And when I was old enough and was going, like I said, took some time off from high school to college. And then by that time, I think I was just mature enough to really see what was going on and not just... I don't know, a lot of my teachers, I didn't even call them like Mr. in their last name, you know, they were just like Tom or like whoever, Jerry.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said those two names.
Tom and Jerry.
And yeah, now I feel like it's not really a problem as long as like I said, chef, I think in the industry there's a lot of like calling just people chef, people that are above you, like chef, and like to a degree, like in my mind, like the main guy who runs the kitchen should always be called chef.
Sure.
But like other people at my work call lots of other people chef just because they're like their supervisors.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, you need to be able to teach me something and like to for me to give you like
that title?
That kind of respect. Yeah. What about you, dude?
I don't know. It's a tough question for me because it all depends on like I guess the best way I can put it is Costco, right? I got along with the bosses that were there to actually be a boss, you know? Mm-hmm. Like if everybody's there's something that's nice about everybody synchronized working hard, you know? And there are a lot of bosses at Costco. I mean, they're managers, right? That will like kill themselves for the department they work in, right? Mm-hmm. And there are other managers who won't do fucking anything, and they all get paid the same at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And of course, shit goes downhill. But like, the last manager I had at Costco, she was a narcissist. Like it was strange talking to her sometimes because you'd hear the way she talked about herself and you're like, she would say, oh, people message me all the time saying they miss me so much, and like, I go around to other Costco's and they say, when are you coming back? And then you'd hear like, no one said that. No one said that about you. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And then, you know, there's other managers that are they're doing 13-hour shifts, being like, "Are you good? What, you know, let's work together." I always respected those people, right?
Yeah.
But for this idea that just because you are above me, I have to fucking play nice with you, no.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times when we look at that, it's like we're like, in my case anyway, and like throughout my history in the culinary industry, it's just like it's a payroll thing.
Sure.
You know, and it's like I call people chef that like aren't in positions of power. You know, if they're like knowledgeable. I don't look at like, I mean, payroll is just like it just matters within those fucking walls. You know, outside of those walls, it's like, well, I don't know. If I was building a team, who would it doesn't just because you're a fucking
not
supervisor.
To mention the wall. Yeah, that's a very interesting take because I felt that way at Costco too. There was this one dude who used to work there who was a manager, and I'm not knocking anybody's height, okay, but the dude, he was like 5 feet tall tops, right? And the way he would try to like get up and I don't want to say intimidate you, but like try to like force you to do things because he was in a manager position, right? And it always bothered me watching him do this. I was like, because if we were outside of this building, you would never talk to most of these people like this because they'd fucking beat your ass, dude, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's another thing when power gets to people's head and shit like that, right? But it is what it is. I fight half people. I love the other half. So, you know, we're some nice in between.
That's world.
Yeah,
that's the world, man. Well, you're a good person, dude. Don't let the shitty people change you.
Oh, thank you, man. You too.
And I guess we'll get out of here. You let these people know where to get at you, I feel like.
Sure, yeah. You can follow me at Jones Comedy. I have a whole bunch of new stuff that I'm going to do in the next year. If anybody sees it in Vancouver, March 9th, 7 to 9 p.m., I'll be headlining at the Moten, the middle of the night. Very excited about that. Thank you so much for having me. I love this LED thing. Do you mind if I ask how much that cost?
It was like a few hundred.
Okay.
My buddy and his wife, another product of the pandemic, like started this company.
Sweet.
Like, you know, around the beginning of the pandemic and stuff.
This is cool. Yeah, I remember even before, like when I would see clips of your podcast on Instagram, I always thought that was very nifty.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, brother, and I appreciate you being here.
Of course, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully, this episode looks all right. We had some technical difficulties.
That's fine.
But
eventually, I'll come back. We'll film another one.
Shit fucking happens. Like always, this podcast is brought to you by Neon Light District. Hit them up. Use code PillowTalk to save 10%. And by The Great North Apparel. Hit them up. Use code PillowTalk to save 30%. I got the monthly show, which is on December 16th. It's the last show of the year. If you're checking this out before then, look and grab tickets. If you can't afford tickets, I'm running a toy drive. Just toss a little fucking dollar store toy in there. You get tickets for free. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Also brought to you by Manscaped.
Manscaped.
That's
the Ridge Wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace the fuck out.